Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome, and what are we getting into today? We are getting into Married at First Sight Australia series 11. We are now on episode 33 and it is the last confessions of the couch, aka the commitment ceremony before the final vows. So as I always say before I get into it, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm on and do videos, do all that good stuff that you do in terms of comment, share, like, you know what I mean? Because I am on the road to 1k. So let's get into this final confessions of the couch. Don't know why I said it like that, but let's just go with it, shall we? Anyway, so it seems as though Tim may have fully forgiven Sarah, even though his mouth is saying, oh, you know, I'm not sure if I'm there with the trust, it's a biggie, it's this, all of that. We know as soon as you decided to allow for Sarah to make it up to you after the biggest faux pas that she'd made on the experiment, yeah, we knew. We knew, yeah, that there was going to be a possibility of you forgiving this girl. Because, let's just put it this way, you ain't like a person like Lauren. Okay? So, they're all talking about the situation that happened between Eden and Jaden at the table and then getting up to leave. Again, I would say that Eden does shut Jaden down when he wants to speak, but then also on the flip side where Jaden doesn't understand where Eden is coming from, and then that kind of manifests itself into a massive anxiety attack, which is what Eden had at that dinner table, and that's why she had to leave that dinner table at that point in time. Eden is basically saying that she's not sure what's changed in the last 2 weeks between them because things have been different between them. And as I said, I think it's down to the point where they had their first blip and they don't necessarily know how to work through that situation because Jaden's not been out with a woman or been with a woman that has the anxieties that Eden suffers from, and he needs to learn how to be able to support her when she is having an anxiety attack, to be honest with you, because what he did at the dinner was not the one, like seriously was not the one. So Eden does turn around and say to him, she says it a lot of times to him, but he doesn't clearly take it on board because I don't know if he sees it as a criticism against himself, but she does continually say to him that, you know, she is scared of getting in a disagreement with him because she can't get out of it until she gives in to him. Whereas Jaden's thinking is that she's scared of what Jaden will say to the group, and that's why she's being as anxious as she is. I mean, two things can be right at the same time, because essentially the anxiety attack started off with she was not sure of what Jaden would say to the rest of the group and she didn't want the questions coming her way. So that started off a bit of her anxiety. So I could see where Jaden was coming from in that regard. But then as time carried on and she got further into anxiety panic, and when she was in crisis, he just literally kept lambasting her until the point where she was trying to talk and say what she needed to say, but he kept shutting her down. So then all she could do was agree with him just to get that line of conversation to stop. But he was not reading the room with her at that point. So then you see the camera flip to Jono and Lauren. And Jono talking about how close he feels to Lauren during the homestays and how much they've now re-clicked back into each other. And this is what I mean then. Why did you do the fuck shit that you did, bearing in mind that a couple of weeks later you were so fucking disgusting to Lauren when prior to that you'd had sex with her, you two were in a really good space, you were both gelling with each other, you could see it moving on. So myself, it's not computing as to where the changes were in terms of Jono's mind. Do you know what I mean? So now we know, it comes up in this episode, that a wife who had left the experiment had passed on some information to another wife in the experiment. And of course that information will be passed to Tori. I mean, come on. Come on, we must have seen that fucking coming. Of course they would pass that information to Tori. Now that was a setup if I ever saw one. Because Tori was fucking gleeful. She was euphoric when she got that information. And I don't think she necessarily thought, well, how am I going to play this first and foremost? Because at the end of the day, Lauren, because we all knew it was to do with the text gate with Ellie and Jono, but Lauren is not wise to what's happening. Lauren had no idea. So my thing would have been, you should have at least gave some type of heads up to Lauren to say, look, getting to the confessions of the couch, I am going to bring something up, and it is to do with Jono and what he's been doing with the experiment, because information has been provided to me. So I'm just giving you a quick heads up. Probably won't be able to tell you what it is all about, because the producers ain't going to want me to let you know beforehand, because they want the real reaction from you. I mean, X, Y, and Z. But I'm giving you the heads up anyway, because I respect you in that way. Obviously, Tori does not respect Lauren, because I'm like, at the end of the day, you are going to decimate a relationship with this information, and we all know that that relationship is going to be fucking dead in the marauded water once this information gets let out in front of everybody. But you're also going to blindside Lauren at the end of the day, which I would not have been taking glee in. But Tori was taking glee in it, because all she kept on thinking of with her tunnel vision. The same with Jack, and his tunnel vision is, oh, Jono's come for us and our relationship, yet behind Lauren's back or whatever, he was doing X, Y, and Z. So now he's going to get it in the neck. That's all she kept on thinking of. And I'm like, you're not thinking of the other person within that relationship who actually doesn't have a clear the fuck idea of what the hell is going on and what's going to be coming her way, to be able to prepare for it. And this is where I said that sometimes Tori can be as evil as Jack is. They just don't give a shit. They don't care. If they could get any tidbit on anybody, especially the ones that have come for her and Jack and their relationship, they will use it regardless. Without no forethought, they're going to use it. So the first couple up on the couch is Eden and Jaden, basically. Eden talks about how she can't handle the conflict with Jaden, and that she's struggling to get her point across to him, and she would just agree as it's easier. Jaden is completely confused, because he feels that nothing they discuss gets addressed, because Eden don't want to talk about it. Once it's been dealt with, that's it. She wants to shut it down and doesn't think that it needs to be revisited in any way, shape or form. Both their communication styles are off. As they said, Jaden has a more of a fight style when it comes to wanting to get information from Eden and wanting to put his point across, which in and of itself is toxic, as John was saying, which it is, because it doesn't allow any leeway of any type of healthy communication. But then also in the same point, the way Eden tries to put across stuff or wants to leave stuff doesn't put across any type of open, healthy communication between the both of them to settle issues as they are, and they're going to keep struggling with that if they don't work on it. So they basically go at Jaden, and everybody else kind of goes at Jaden, to the point where Jaden kind of thinks, well, there's times where he thinks he is not good enough, he's not doing the right thing, and he hears probably views or criticism, or his wife is feeling X, Y, and Z. He feels he's not doing what he should be doing as a husband, which makes him feel that he's failing, which the experts then have to literally talk him out of, because at the end of the day, that's the wrong way he should be thinking about it. So his style comes from, I really don't want to let you down, so he will go do, just in terms of his mind and his own thinking, and not necessarily giving grace to his partner in terms of they may be thinking something completely different, and allowing them that safe space and that time to actually say, well, no, this is what I think, and actually sit back, shut up and listen. Jaden does not do that. So their decision was to stay, and then we go on to Jade and Ridge. Jade speaks about the fact that how her mother got emotional and her sister got emotional because they could see how much that she was falling for Ridge, and they will get worried that if things don't go well, that she will crumble because she's done it before. and that the living situation will be hard for them, because Jade is thinking that, you know what, when he goes back home to his boys and his natural comfort, that he may not want to move, basically, or he may think he's got a better deal where he is than he would have with Jade, and he wouldn't see her as a reason for him moving, and that'll be it to their relationship. Now Ridge does sit there and literally he reassures this girl, like from 0 to 100, he reassures this girl that this is not the case, and he actually puts a timeline in that within 3 months he will be making plans to move to the Gold Coast to be with her and V at the end of the day, because he's basically saying this is his girl, this is his woman, this is his wife, this is the person he only wants. Everything else is out for him, basically. He is not looking at no one else but Jade. Jade did smile at that and she did feel reassured, but the proof is going to come in the pudding at the end of the day. Actions speak louder than words, because Ridge, you can say all the flowery stuff that you want, but do I believe him when he's saying it? In my opinion, yes, I do believe him when he's saying it at that point, but it's going to show in his actions. So basically their decision was to stay. Next couple up was Lucinda and Tim, and all I kept on thinking at this point, Lucinda just needs to write leave on that card, because her and Tim are not gelling. They'll be better off as friends. Basically, Lucinda says that she needs to leave Tim because he's not going to change at all. Lucinda does talk about the homestays and how she felt, and basically tells them that he went off with a friend and didn't come back home until 1:30 in the morning. And this is why I say Tim was taking the full piece with Lucinda, like proper taking the full piece with her. And he, as he said, Tim says when he gets what Lucinda is saying, yeah, he always gets it but never changes his behaviour because he doesn't want to be in that space. All I would say is Tim should not have applied for this show, like seriously, really shouldn't. Yes, I understand we probably would not have met the lovely Lucinda in the way that we did, and he probably wouldn't have got to the point that he has done at this moment in time. But yeah, I think with all consideration, he's missed out in a good person in Lucinda at the end of the day. That's how I see it. He was not going to give this girl a chance. From the wedding, you could see that he was not going to give Lucinda a chance at the end of the day. He kind of was dead in the water from that point on. So, the decision was to leave for both of them, which I think was the best decision for them at the end of the day. And then we get on to Sarah and Tim, and they're happy, they're laughing, and basically Sarah believing that she's repaired this situation between herself and Tim. Tim feels like that trust is a tricky one, but in a way he's getting there. He's starting to feel valued by her, and he says that if this continues, it will be easy to say that they've put this behind them and their decision was to stay. So the next couple up was Tori and Jack. And I'm like, at this point, because I know throughout the whole episode of this, Tori just kept on glowing daggers over towards Jono and Lauren. And I'm like, if you had any respect for Lauren, when you got your ass on this couch with Jack, would be the time that you let that information out, so then they could know what's coming and then be able to chat about it on the couch. Don't wait for Lauren and Jono to get on the couch after they then start talking about how they feel about each other and all this, that and the other, then to let it out, because that's devastating. That's absolutely devastating. But you know, that's exactly what Tori was going to do. That's exactly what she was going to do. So basically they ask how Tori and Jack felt about the consummation of the wedding. So Jack answers, and he basically says that he actually does feel more connected with Tori, and Tori says it's brought them together. I'm like, they're not convincing me. The way in which they talk is not convincing me, and most of all, probably not convincing the people that sat in the room with them, that them two are on this equal level playing field. They're just literally parroting what each other wants to say and what each other wants to put out there. They don't deviate from each other in the slightest, which is quite worrying, to be fair. Which is quite worrying, because Tori and Jack sit there and parrot each other. So Tori turns around and says that she could fall for Jack, basically, and Jack agreed. That's all he did, is he agreed. Even though at the table he didn't say nothing in the slightest, and just that he was having fun. Again, I think they're full of bullshit. All I'm gonna say is, with any of these couples, all I would say is, at least give it 2 years. If you're still together, then I'll believe it. Give it 2 years. If you're still together, then yeah, I'll be like, I'll eat crow. Especially when it comes to Jack and Tori, I'll eat crow if they're still together after 2 years. We'll leave it at that. So basically said that Tori turned around and she said that she is not speaking to anyone after this show, as she said she was on empty. And I just thought, oh my god, hell has frozen over, because Tori started crying. Tori started actually showing emotion on that motherfucking couch. I was like, wow. So then all the other members of the experiment spoke up and said, actually, Tori, you are a great person, and we're speaking life back into her. The issue is Jack, and the fact that you want to stand by this man when you know that he's a full-on issue. So Alessandria, I should say, one of the experts asked, why does it hurt? The group giving feedback. And Tori says that she feels that they have not had a positive moment since they've been there. And because Tori is saying that what her and Jack have is real, but it's not computing that it is. It's not computing that it is, because their whole relationship speaks to me as it's just a transaction. It's transactional for them. That's how it's speaking to me. I think Tori is the one who's investing more of her feelings within the relationship than Jack is. Jack is seeing it as some type of transaction. That's how it is to me. I mean, that could be just how he presents himself when he's in a relationship, but from how he spoke from the beginning to now in regards to the relationships that he's been with, that's not how it's always been. So I'm like, why is it different with Tori? But hey ho. So they asked Lauren, what is it that you see when you look at Tori and Jack? And the way Tori turned and looked at Lauren as if to say, yeah, you can say your shit now, but just wait till you get on the couch, because I've got something for you. That was it for me. So Lauren turned around and she says that she does not see any emotion or reaction or anything. And I'm like, it's true though. She's telling a fact. There's no emotion, no reaction or anything to anything between them two, because we all see it. So I was like, okay, because Tori's literally staring daggers in her, and I'm thinking, okay, run your mouth now, say something, because you could visibly see Tori trying to hold that shit in, and she did manage to hold it in, because she was like, yeah, wait till you get on your couch session, because that's when I'm gonna throw a fucking spanner in the works for you and Jono. So Tori basically turns around and says that her and Jack have been in the best place that they have been in. Jack basically says that he thinks he's met his equal and met his match in Tori, and I'm like, they're so boring. They're so boring. It's just reeling off a list of requirements. That's what they're doing, just reeling off a list of requirements, and it doesn't even sound, there's no passion, there's no ooh when they're speaking about each other at all, and then they wonder why people get the view that they do about them. So anyway, their decision was to stay. So basically, as they got off the couch and they sat down, Tori did whisper to Jack that she has a bomb to drop, like when Lauren and Jono get on the couch. And I was like, bish, you evil, because she planned that to a T, especially when she knew that Lauren would have no idea of it, and she knew that it was going to blow their relationship over, because you know what, Lauren is not Tori. Lauren ain't going to stand for that shit in the slightest. Also, Lauren is not Tim. So the next ones on the couch are Lauren and Jono. So each time Lauren's talking, you can see Tori's pushing up her face and blowing air. And I'm like, you know what? If you're going to let this information out, just let it out now, because obviously it's killing you right now to hold this in to the perfect point. So Jono is full of shit. absolutely full of shit, because he's talking about how close he is to Lauren, that she makes him giddy. And I'm just like, really, my guy? Really, really, really? Does she really? Does she really? Does she really? So, in his behaviours, because I mentioned this throughout the episodes coming, in his behaviours, I am going to say, yeah, and I'm going to put it out there, that if this did not come out, Jono would not have told Lauren. Jono would more than likely, or both of them, Lauren and Jono, would more than likely, when it came to final phase, have made a life with each other. So my thing would have been, would he have cut that shit off dead then and there at the end of the day? So my thing is Jono always wanted Lauren. Ellie was the backup. That's how I saw it. Ellie was the backup. Now, me myself, I would not be happy with being the backup or having some other wife's sloppy seconds. But you know what? She wanted a man. Ellie wanted a man. She didn't get it in Ben, so she decided that she was going to try it in another husband in the experiment. I do think it's slack of her to be texting the way that they've been texting back and forth. Yes, Ellie may not have owed no loyalties to Lauren, but Jono damn well certainly did at the end of the day. And he should have cut that communication short with that woman, but obviously he didn't, because he felt something there. Ellie felt it too, but we'll get on to that when we get to the next episodes. So, Tori lets the information out that, you know what, it's come to her attention, the information's been given to her that Jono has actually been texting Ellie outside of the experiment. Lauren is kind of like, what? And I'm kind of like, well, how are you going to talk your way out of this one now, Jono? How are you going to do that? Please, Playtown, let us all know, let us in. So Lauren asked Jono, are you serious? And Jono says that he's kept in touch. You know, it's the blase. I've kept in touch with lots of people outside of this experiment. So Lauren asks him, point blank, have you been messaging Ellie? And he says Ellie reached out to him. Now remember that, because Jono will definitely say something different after the next episodes that start coming up. And he said that she will send a message every 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, my guy, that's not a friend. That's a fucking relationship right there, so. Every 3 or 4 days, and you two are sending messages to each other. How many messages have you got in that rotted phone? Because, my guy, you were playing a blinder through that. So now I question every interaction that he's had with Ellie within this experiment, which they do show. So he says nothing is there and Ellie is not his type. He says that he talks about with her how the commitment ceremony is going. And I'm like, nah, no. You're telling me you can't see exactly what's happening in front of your face, because all of the women within that experiment that was sitting on that couch all kind of cringed at that point, as if to say, what the fuck? Because it's like, why would another wife want to know how your commitment ceremony is going with Lauren? Why would she want to know? It's none of her ratty business at the end of the day. And the only reason why Ellie was asking certain types of questions or wanted to keep in touch with you is to keep tabs on how things are going between you and Lauren, so she knows she could try and shoot her shot if shit didn't work out. But because she knew that the experiment was still going on, and Ellie actually wanted, this is my conspiracy theory at the moment, Ellie wanted Jono and knew that Jono wanted her. That's the only reason why the information got leaked to one of the other wives within the experiment. And of course it would be Tori, because she knew that would get said in front of everybody. So yeah. Ellie played the game, but then so did Jono. Both of them did. So Lauren asked, did you spend time with Ellie? And Jono said no. And basically Lauren was saying the reason why Ellie's asking these questions as well is because she wants to know what's going on between him and her. That's what she wants to know. And it's very strange that Jono don't see that. He doesn't see that in the slightest. So they asked him, how do you feel about Ellie? He denies having any type of feelings for Ellie. keeps stating that she is a friend and there is nothing at all there. So John turned around and says to Jono that, you know what, as soon as you started speaking about the text messages between you and Ellie and the context and all this, that and the other, that all the other women actually cringed, because there's something wrong with that behaviour, Nerys. So for Jono not to see is beyond me, like absolutely boggles my mind. So they wanted to know what his intentions were with Ellie. He turned around and he point blank said he has no intentions with Ellie. So from here, this man is denying Ellie's existence within his life. Like absolutely denying, that he wants to be with her, denying that there's anything in the text, saying Ellie is not his type. I would have felt some type of way if I was the woman texting that man and I watched these back. I would rather feel some type of way to the point where I probably would not be in a relationship with that man after the shit that just went down. Because I am that motherfucking desperate to have a man by my side in my life that would be willing to have a flirty banter texty conversation with me. Yeah, knowing full well that we actually do like each other, because women can tell these things. That when a man likes them. Yeah. And Jono knew that Ellie liked him. Yes, so while they were texting, having this flirty banter back and forth, texty, thinking something might come of it, because in Ellie's mind, she's thinking that Lauren and Jono were not in a good place, because when she left on her episode, they were not in a good place on that couch. So she took the opportunity then, to start having that communication with Jono, and no one's going to tell me no different that didn't happen at that point. It did. It so did happen at that point. So I don't understand how you can then listen back or watch these back knowing this man denied you in all of that. Why would you want to be with a person who's denying your whole existence to continue to be with a woman that you thought that there was nothing there? That puts you in the wrong as much as it puts Jono in the wrong too. So you can see that Lauren is absolutely devastated by this information. Jono is basically saying that he's sorry to her, and Lauren brings up the right point. You had sex with me while you were messaging another girl. And the problem here is Lauren's been through this situation before. She's been cheated on, and this is how it started. So for Jono to do the fuck shit that he did is out of the fucking park at the end of the day. So their decision, was to stay. But Lauren did basically say that if she'd have known what she'd have known previously about the situation, and the fact that Jono admitted this truth to her, her decision would be wholly different. And that's the reason why Tori should have been actually a girl's girl at that point, rather than seeking to fuck things up or put Jono on the fucking spot, and gave Lauren the heads up so Lauren could make an informed decision as to what she was going to do with this fucking marriage at this point in time moving forward. But she didn't get that option, so now she's stuck. She's stuck to final vows, to be honest with you. But that's where the episode ended. All I'm going to say is please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so when you know I'm on to do videos. I am on the road to 1K, and I'll be back very, very soon. Peace out.